Welcome on board. Mr. Praveer Sinha, CEO and MD at Tata Power, joins us on the show right now. Mr. Sinha, hi, good morning. How's the lockdown been? What's been the experience so far?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. The lockdown is very challenging for the power sector and for Tata Power also, because all our 11 plants in different parts of the country in 6 states continue to operate, and similarly 7 of our production units outside India also continue to operate. Our distribution and transmission business continues to operate in 5 locations. And our renewable projects, there are 70 sites which we have. They continue to operate. As we speak, nearly 10,000 of our people continue to work in all these plants to ensure that we get power at our homes and at our business establishments. And we continue to serve to all our consumers. So it's a very tough time. While we have the challenge of the lockdown and many of the things is slowing down, we continue to operate these plants to ensure that the country continues to work, and we still have the nation building exercise that we continue to do.
Oh yeah, it's a long road that we're staring at, long and endless one. But tell me, like my colleague as well was highlighting about the tariff cuts in Maharashtra, how does that change life for you at Tata Power?
The tariff is decided based on what is your annual revenue requirement. And this is dependent on what is the cost of power that you procure and how these services are being offered to the consumer. Over a period of time, all of us have been able to learn that we need to optimize the allocation of power that we take from various generating stations. And the efficiency that has come in providing services is being passed on to the consumer. So what has typically happened is that in the kitty, it is the same amount, but the reallocation has been done in such a way that some of the consumer classes who were getting very high tariff, there they have been moderated. And those who were getting very low tariff, again, they have been moderated so that the average tariff is reasonable for all types of consumers. Otherwise, typically the industrial and commercial consumers were to a very large extent cross-subsidizing the domestic consumers and the agriculture consumers. That parity is being brought about so that they are within the plus minus 20% range of the average cost of supply.
Okay. How do you expect your dues with DISCOM are likely to move right now? Frankly, because of lockdown and because of sluggishness in the economy, nobody knows. You don't know, I don't know. Even the state governments do not know how their collections would move. So what happens to your dues and overdues with DISCOMs now?
At present, this has not impacted so much because the collection till 20th was very good, and it's only in the last 10 days that the collection efficiency has come down and the amount collected has come down. But as we move forward with many of the industries and commercial establishments closed, we'll have a challenge. One is the basic consumption itself will go down. And secondly, since they are closed, their ability to pay will go down. So this will have a liquidity issue as far as the generating companies are there. We have taken up with the government that since the DISCOMs are not in a position to pay immediately the full amount, the generating plants should also be given certain concessions by way of delayed payment for the freight to the railways, or delayed payment to Coal India Limited for the coal that is being procured from them, or to GAIL for the gas that is being procured from them. So basically, we need to ensure that the supply chain management in a power system is continued. And to that extent, whatever support has to be given by the government, like they have given to the DISCOMs, whereby they are giving them a 3 months period for not delaying the payment, but they will have to, in any case, pay the interest charges. I think similar concession has to be given to the generating companies also, so that they continue to procure coal and run the plant. Otherwise, what will eventually happen is that some of these plants may not have money to buy coal and they may not be operating, which will be very disastrous for the economy. So I think some amount of balancing has to be done, and I'm sure the government will come up with some suggestions and some plans to put that in place.
Are you talking to government for some additional credit lines, some kind of a concession? If yes, what are your demands? At what stage those conversations have moved?
Yeah, we have been speaking to the government and we have made a representation. And apart from that, the RBI itself has come with guidelines that the loan repayment and the interest repayment for 3 months can be deferred. So I think there are steps which are being taken by various, whether it is by RBI or by the government. And we do expect that this is a tough time and everyone has to pitch in rather than saying that distribution companies will not pay, then what the generators will do. I think everyone has to cooperate and see to it that the functioning of the power sector continues because it is very critical for continuing the economy. If today we have people doing work from home, it is because they have power at their home. If there is no power supply, you can imagine the type of grinding halt economy and the life will come through. So I think there is a huge concern, but everyone is sensitized to it and they will definitely come up with solutions which meets the expectations of all.
Okay. With your current cash flows, would you be able to manage next 1 month, next 2 months of operation if things don't improve? Because things will not improve on the payment front. Or you would be looking at emergency injection from Tata Sons or from banks?
We did an analysis of our cash flows for next 3 months, and we look to be quite comfortable. There may be some immediate requirement of cash for the gaps that we have, which we will arrange from the new provisions which have come recently from RBI, whereby short-term market bonds and ETs can be issued. But I don't think we will have any challenge in terms of operating our existing operations. Secondly, I would also like to mention that it is not that there is no payment which is being collected. Domestic consumers, industrial, commercial, they are making payments. Some of them are making it in installments, but it is not that no payment is coming. In fact, yesterday also we found that the collection has not dropped drastically. It's about 15 to 20% reduction that has happened compared to similar period last year. But it is not that the collection has virtually come to standstill and there is no money that the consumers have.
Coal availability. At a time when lockdown is there, power has been classified as essential services. But realistically, when we have issue of migrant workers, we know that most of the companies are struggling to get the basic laborers also out. How is your coal availability? Do you have enough and more buffer for next 2 or 3 weeks? And are fresh supplies coming in from Coal India and from other coal producers?
There are two parts of this answer. The first is that the demand itself has reduced. So most of the plants are working at a minimum technical load, or some of the units are closed down and just few units are operating within the plant. So the basic requirement of coal itself has come down drastically. The second is the movement of coal by railways is going on. We continue to get all the wagons which are required, all the coal that is required to come from the railway. The only challenge is the coal movement where you have rail come road or only road transportation. There has been quite a bit of slow movement. We find that there are not many drivers for Highway. But I find that in last 2 days it has improved. It has definitely not come to the level it was before the lockdown started. but it has definitely improved, and we do expect that it will improve in the coming days. We have adequate quantity of coal. In fact, because of the less demand, we find that we have adequate quantity of coal for, in fact, next 4 weeks. Most of the plants have 25 to 55 days of coal stock. So, and we keep on getting replenishment on a daily basis. So, I don't think coal is going to be an impediment. The impediment will only be liquidity, and for that, some amount of payments we do expect from the discoms, from the consumers, and also some support from the government. I think we should be able to cross the hurdle.
How should your shareholders now view this event? Because power is one industry where technically the demand has changed, the payments will be an issue, yet the disruption is not as large as what auto has seen, or for that matter other sectors have seen. So for someone who says, look, how do I make a view on Tata Power? Because plant load factors, the way they were calculated in the past, will change. Plant efficiencies are a function of plant load factor. So both on the demand side, there are changes. On the payment side, there are changes. So for a shareholder, what is the right way of looking at next 6 months, next 12 months?
As you know, power sector is a highly regulated business. So you get your fixed cost based on the availability that you declare for the plant. The availability of all those plants are there because you have adequate quantity of coal and you are in a position to run the plant. So you will get your fixed cost to the full amount. So to that extent, there is no problem as far as the returns of the companies are concerned. And on regulated basis, you will continue to get the regulated returns. The only challenge, as I mentioned to you, is on the liquidity. And hopefully the discoms should be paying, because if you are in merit order, it is in the interest of the discom that they pay you rather than not paying you and then buying power at a higher tariff. So I think if you are in merit order and if you have the availability of the plant and you have adequate quantity of coal, then I think it should not have any adverse impact as such on the business and on the returns of the companies, and it should be normal for them in terms of the return aspect.
Appreciate your time and so glad you could join us, and thank you for your valuable times, and stay safe, sir, and thank you for your valuable insights.